morning, everybody. Welcome to today's video. It's everything that happened at the shop yesterday. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions about how or why we're doing anything, comment below. Have a good one. So you're prepping the inside of the tube as well, just to clean it up.
Stainless steel is very reactive, and it pulls out whatever's inside, so it needs to be cleaned inside and out. So you clean off the dirt and the oils and stuff inside the pipe, because it will pull everything out from the inside. So you clean this off, acetone, clean them all off, so that when I tack it, I don't have to do it again. So when they're tacked, they're together and they're done. You have to do it to every single joint that gets welded. They all have to get cleaned, and they all have to get prepped.
So these are the starts of the hood sides for the Speedster. This height, I kind of put this on and bent it to the shape of the cowl, and then also the shape of the tool shell. I want it to be about 20 inches from the frame rail to where the hood side kind of starts. So I just kind of mark this out. These are little relief cuts. I started to cut on this side, but these are for for the hood shelf, basically. On the inside here is where the fender welting or whatever. Not fender welting. Just like the little pad that's going to go on the inside where this is going to rest on top of the cowl. So just gotta snip these off and then measure an inch down, because I want it to have a 1 inch flange. So this, the hood will kind of sit like this and then have a break, so it'll have a flange on the inside, and that'll give us something to mount the hood side to. So a little trick that Faye Butler showed me is anytime you're doing something you want to shear something, if you use your tin snips on red on the right side and the green on the left side, it'll make the sheet metal have like a little bend in it, and it'll almost be able to hook on the shear. So, what's up, Bri? See how it made like a little hook? So I have to stick it in, hook the side, and pull it back. That's exactly where I made that cut. That's what I wanted. A 1 inch flange from the side. This I can now bend in. So for those of you that don't know, this is a Model A Speedster. A Model A Ford came right after Model T. Model A's were 1928 through 1931. So the frames on Model A's, whether it was a roadster, a pickup truck, a two-door sedan, a four-door sedan, whatever it may be, all of the chassis were exactly the same. Like the motor, the steering, all the suspension and brakes, it was all exactly the same, and they just put different bodies on. So kind of quickly thereafter, people started taking the bodies off of them and making these little kind of handmade bodies to basically make a little race car out of it. Doing a boat tail was sort of a thing back then. It was kind of like, I guess, aerodynamics or something. But either way, this is a Model A Speedster. Someone started this car before it came here, and what we're doing is finishing it basically. What I was talking about is with that shelf. So the hood, you know, sits on this shelf. So I made this basically wrap around the cowl just out of sheet metal, and then put a brake in it, and then use the shrinker to give it its shape, and then made another little piece, this piece here, and then that is just sort of tack welded in, and all this is going to get cleaned up and painted and everything. But you know what this does is it gives the hood a spot to sit here, and then this is a Whippet grill shell. Whippet was a car manufacturer, and these grill shells are just kind of a neat little grill shell. It was a pretty common thing that guys use Whippet grill shells just because they were kind of cool looking. It did require a smaller or modified radiator, but it's just kind of a cool little sort of aerodynamic looking grill shell. So as you can see, the factory grill shell has like a little spot where the hood is going to sit into it. Well, on the cowl, we don't have that, so we had to make it. So, you know, obviously, you know, the whole hood and everything was all also made, but you know, these are just radiator strut rods, you know, to keep the car from, or to keep the grill shell from flexing backwards. Just gave it some structure, and then, you know, the hood goes on here, and then there's going to be some hood sides and some like latches. They're going to come off the side of the frame to attach to the hood side to hold it on.
Right, I'm blocking the doors for the C10 and primer using 320 grit. Use this block because it's nice and long, you know, and we can get like a good cut across the entire door while we're sanding. And what I put on here is guide coat, so it kind of highlights some of the spots that are a little low that might need a little bit more attention than the others. Step right before paint, and paint the green and white.
Tim, where do you get these amazing little fixtures that you use?
Anywhere you can find them. Anything on the table is open game.
This old coil is one.
Open game.
This little vise I see works great. Sometimes the jump box. Any of this stuff.
Roll of tape. Propane tank. Whatever you need. Just to make it. Maybe you can hold it now.
That's awesome. So I know this exhaust looks crazy, but this is what has to happen. There's really no room to be able to go like in here with 3-inch. Obviously this area here, because the truck's so low and the bed floor is raised, there's a big area here where there's nothing there. So the exhaust can run this way. We still have to make brackets to bolt everything to the chassis. But yeah. And then that gives us tons of room for a wider tire if we decide to put a wider tire on there. Timmy's been plugging along on Andy's exhaust here. And this is the easiest way to get the exhaust to go up over the axle and out the back. So there's just so much travel with the air ride, so it's really almost impossible to get a 3-inch exhaust through there.